Welcome everyone to my channel, Alien Diamonds. Today, I'm doing a slightly different thing than my usual whip and chat. I mentioned in one of my whip and chats that I was planning to do this comparison project. I know they're pretty popular on YouTube, just with different aspects of diamond painting, and it seemed like a fun thing for me to do as well. So they're the same image, clearly. The only difference is that this one is squares, this one is rounds. These are just both canvases I found off of Amazon. I found this one first and bought it and started it, and then I realized that there's a round version that I could buy. It's from a different seller, a different company, so I feel like it's going to be a lot more different than like some comparisons. Like if you bought a round and square version from the same kit from like the same company, those would probably be more similar, whereas these are completely separate. um, but I got this in the mail a few days ago now, and I just finished kitting it up. So now both of them are kitted up. They both have 25 colors, but they aren't the exact same colors. They have 13 colors in common and 12 that are different. I don't think it's super important to specify what those are, but like just general stat wise, they're obviously you can tell visually that they're pretty close to the same size. The round one is 24.8 by 35 centimeters, and the square one is 25 by 34.9 centimeters. So just like a hair different, which makes this one. I counted both of their like actual like spacing, so I know that the round one is 88 by 124 drills, which makes it a total of 10,912. And the square one, obviously because square drills are smaller, this one is 98 by 137 drills, which makes it a total of 13,426. And like I said, I was already halfway done with this before I even bought this one. But then when I realized, once I ordered this one, I put this one on pause. So I'm gonna tape this one up, start working on it, get to the halfway point, and then probably get back to you on a future day. I'm not going to do this all today. I have stuff to get done today and this weekend. So, in some future day, which will be in a few seconds for you, I should be back with this one half finished and see what I have to say at that point. One thing I have noticed just from the like first impressions, seeing them, is that there's like different details in each one that have been highlighted. Like this one has super clear lines in these books up here, whereas these books are more smudgy. But then like these white boxes aren't present at all right here. And like some of the flowers, like those are the same flower. This one's very like blurred out. That one is hard to tell because it's behind the tape. But I don't know. I think it'll be interesting. Hopefully I enjoy doing this round one better than I've enjoyed doing the square one, because the square one has awful gapping. But, like I said, you'll see me again in a little bit, once I've actually started this one. It's been a few days since I started the round version of this kit. I started the square one a while ago. Obviously, I started before I got the round one. And now I'm getting pretty close to where I was on the square one. I've just put the square one aside and just focused on doing the round one. And even with, with essentially I'm halfway done. I am halfway done with this one. Once I finish this next section on here, I'll be halfway done with that one. But there's clearly some very big differences in like the rendering. And this is something that a lot of people will talk about, that round, the rendering tends to be more soft as opposed to like the square, because it looks more like pixels. With the square kits, it's more crisp and pixelated per se. So I also noticed that even though they have a lot of colors in common, the colors that they don't have in common are making a huge difference. This square one is so much more vibrant. And honestly, like, I prefer this vibrancy, but like, I asked my wife and she actually prefers the kind of muted tones. It is pretty. It does. This one feels a lot more fall to me, if that makes sense, and this one feels more like spring or summer. So, and I actually do like that, even though they're the same piece, they're they don't they aren't turning out to look the same. I mean, I knew they wouldn't look the same, but they look even more different than I thought they would. Yeah, this one is a lot more vibrant. The a lot of the browns in like the background here on the canvas, they're actually printed as green, but then they're brown drills. 4, which is 500, that's a green, but it's a very dark green. But that's fine. I think I like the way the middle book is rendered more here, because like here there's like it's the dark blue and light blue and then like this weird random patches of brown for like the in-between shading that I'm not a huge fan of. I do like how clear the like sun shape is there, as opposed to this where it's just a blob. And I actually do, I think the flowers, some of them I feel like look a bit better, at least from like a distance. Like I like this flower a lot compared to like, because it's so, like the middle of these flowers are so vibrant, they kind of look weird against like the more tan, white, creamish petals. So that's, I don't know. That's just like my more or less midway update, I guess. Though looking at, okay, back to, so a lot of people will say that round diamond paintings go faster. Because I haven't seen any YouTubers mention how many like drills they place per hour. I don't know if that's just, maybe that's just like a niche thing for me to calculate. I keep track of it. I mention it in all of my month in review videos. But obviously with a round versus a square one, even if you, like with the same size like these are, even if you finish them in the same time, technically, because there are more squares on the canvas, you would be doing squares faster. Which, at least for me, is currently true. So currently, my estimated drills per hour on the round one is 1,258, whereas my estimated drills per hour on this one is 1,540. I feel like they'll probably end up taking about the same amount of time overall. Both of these have had, well, this one's had a lot of confetti, more confetti than this one, but these squares are really gappy, so they're taking a little longer than normal for that, whereas this one, with all the confetti, it's kind of been driving me insane, not gonna lie. I'm excited to actually do the rest now. I was able to finish these 2 sections. I just worked on those 2 sections today. I think that's all for now, and in a few days, or a few seconds for you guys, I'll probably come back once they're both finished. So, see you then. And they are done. I knew this even at the halfway point, but oh my gosh, they look so different. Obviously, like, as I mentioned, what will have been a few seconds or minutes ago for you, this one is much more given like fall vibes, and this one is like spring and summer. For some stats, I started this one on the 6th of May. And I didn't get this one till later, so this one I didn't start until the 16th. And then I finished this one on the 26th, and I finished this one on the 27th. So this one took 20 days technically, and this one only took 11, but this one I like put on pause while I was catching up on this one. So that's neither here nor there. Actual hours spent, this one took 8 hours and 19 minutes, and this one took 8 hours and 8 minutes. So the round one actually took me slightly longer, but it's 11 minutes. I don't think that's a big enough discrepancy to change things. Interestingly though, because obviously the square drills are smaller, there's more on the canvas, that means that my drills per hour, this one was 1,310 for the rounds, and then for the squares it was 1,647. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, the rounds go faster. At least in this case, for me specifically, no. Drills per hour, the squares went way faster, and even just looking at the hours, technically the square one went slightly faster. Obviously, it's not a perfect comparison because they don't have the same rendering. They're not even from the same like seller on Amazon. So you know that's it's not a perfect comparison that way. But this one, the rounds had so much confetti, which I was obviously gonna because like even compared to, I normally do round 30x40s, which would be this size, and normally for this size I get them done in like 7 hours as opposed to 8. So if this had been more akin to my normal speed for a round, it might have gone faster than the square. But yeah, there's just so much confetti in the round version, whereas there's not a ton of color blocking in the square one, but it's still more than what I saw in the round one. I perhaps also affecting my speed was that for the bottom like row on both of these, I had started trying to use a diamond painting wheel, so that I used it on both of them, so it definitely slowed down both of them. So I don't think it affected like the comparison between them. Just that would make sense why it took me longer than it normally does to finish it. The other big thing that my wife had mentioned, because as I had said, like when I was halfway done, my wife prefers the round one, and she had mentioned that she liked the muted colors then, and now that they're done, she's mentioned that she feels like there's more depth in the round one, which I kind of see. Like this one looks more like flat, which I'm drawn to like the flat kind of pop art style, so maybe that's why I like this one more when she likes this one more. I do like both of them, and I didn't get bored of them like I thought I might, just doing the same thing twice. Probably mostly because they are so different. I think the main thing I learned about this is that, at least for me, it seems that I actually technically do squares faster. I would love to be able to do another comparison between the two with like actually the same rendering at some point. I think that would be more scientific data than this one. But regardless, I did have a fun time doing these, and I'm not upset about having both of them. I still need to figure out where to hang them. I did already seal them because I seal all of my budget canvases, and now I just need to, I normally just paint the borders with black acrylic paint, and then I'll figure out where to hang them. I guess the one other thing to mention, which isn't like actually related to the rendering or the like inherent differences between round and squares, but because I already kitted down the round kit. The quality of the square drills for this one were horrendous, so I decided I was not going to save them, and I just dumped them all into my trash container. Anyways, I hope you found this video informational, entertaining, at least. And if you made it this far in the video, then thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and I guess I will see you in another video. Bye.